Yeah, by Joe, let me take it to France. Diamonds hot, get it ice out again. Been through rocky the climber and niggas on top of these niggas not with it. Bitch, I love money all over the digits. Niggas look up to me cause I go get it. Little bitch, she obsessed with me and she with it.
Okay, I'm back to another video. So today I thought I'd switch it up and not do a music reaction. I saw this video come up in my recommended, and this guy's a great YouTuber, I watch him all the time. And I don't think he's uploaded it in a while, but he just dropped a video on America. He's called Casually Explained. I'm sure lots of you guys will have heard of him already. If you haven't, I'll put a link to the original video in the description and you can go and support his channel. Not that he needs much support. He's got 3.5 mil subs. But he does like topics, and he just like does like a summary video of topics. But like it sounds really fucking boring. But he's jokes, and he's a great YouTuber, and he's doing one on America. And I know I have a lot of American fans, so I thought this would be a fitting video to do. And obviously I'm from the UK, so this will be my reaction, UK reaction to America, or that like clickbaity title shit. And yeah, I thought I would just do this, a little switch up, and kind of making up for not uploading in the last couple of days. Thought I'd do 2 uploads in one day. So yeah, let's get into this. Also, if you are new to the channel and you are not subscribed already, we're trying to hit 100k by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed, go down, click that red button and turn notifications on so you don't miss my next video.
Sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Who isn't?
Now, America...
That's when you officially become a YouTuber, I think, is when you get a VPN sponsor. I need a VPN sponsor. That's when I know I will have made it.
America is known as the land of the free and home of the brave, and while land remains very expensive and most millennials and Gen Z are too anxious to answer phone calls, it's still nevertheless a pretty good slogan. One thing that's rarely considered by Americans, however, is that there are other countries in the world besides America. For example, the other day I saw a nice picture on Reddit where someone was like, "Everyone loved my homegrown tomato salad at our wedding reception." And one comment was like, "You shouldn't be having a wedding reception with dozens of people right now. That is completely irresponsible." And it had a bunch of upvotes. Then a couple hours later, the person responded.
I've seen that all the time. Like, not just Americans. It's not just Americans doing this. I've seen people from the UK that do this with Americans as well, because we're still kind of behind America. We've severely fucked the whole lockdown stuff. We've had 3 lockdowns in the UK and we're just kind of coming out of the 3rd one. But I've seen people like see concerts in America and be like, "Whoa, what the fuck? How is everyone like at a music concert or like football games and stuff?" And we're barely just getting fans back into football stadiums. So yeah, it's not just Americans doing that, but it's definitely weird how everyone's like still in different mindsets about COVID across the world.
Responded saying, "I live in New Zealand, but I thought you might have liked to see my tomatoes. I'm sorry." And in a time like this, that really made me think, damn, I wish I was married. And while we're all still envious of New Zealand right now, a lot of people particularly criticize America's response to COVID-19 because 500,000 people have died from a half-assed pandemic response. But in my opinion, the number would be much higher than 550,000 if they had not locked down at all. And frankly, given the size of the country, it's remarkable that only 583,000 people have died so far. Now, while many consider America to be the greatest country on Earth, this is most only true in terms of nuclear submarines. Nevertheless, America is known for its political democracy. Bro,
I saw some stats about the American military spending. It's crazy, honestly. From like an outside perspective, I know it's like Americans are very kind of militant about their military spending. From the outside in, I always think America's just a crazy country into like just this is like the main thing obviously is you guys don't have free healthcare. Like that's mental. And you spend that much on military compared to everyone else. Yeah, I feel like the priorities in America sometimes are a bit mad.
Of course, being the belief that if Cyberpunk barely functions on PlayStation, surely it would have worked great on Xbox. It's for this reason one of the most exciting things to absolutely not be a part of is the American political climate. For example, sometimes I go on Twitter to make sure no one has escaped into the real world, and it's always an eye-opening experience, because there are really only 2 types of people on Twitter. On one side, there are the ones that think Trump is the Lord and Savior of God's flat earth, and on the other side are the people who think that denouncing a bottle of syrup relinquishes them from their original white sin. Some academics have suggested this kind of division could lead to a civil war, but in my opinion, as someone who grew up with Xbox Live and a microphone, it's sounding a lot more like a Halo 3 lobby than Fort Sumter 1861. For starters, if there was some type of conflict, it's already a no-brainer who would win. One side collects military-grade firearms as a hobby, and the other side thinks mental illnesses are Poke badges. Second of all, if you get a kid from California to march to the Deep South...
Bro, I mean, he's clowning on the liberals right now. It's facts. Imagine there was a civil war. Like, I think everyone knows who's going to win.
When he sees 3 bedrooms...
There's not going to be a civil war, though. That's all just a bit overhyped, isn't it?
badges. Second of all, if you get a kid from
I
California...
like to believe the majority of Americans have common sense. I feel like we kind of just see the crazy people because it's like a good focus for the media to focus on. I like to believe and hope most Americans have common sense.
To march to the Deep South, when he sees 3 bedrooms in a yard for $100K, you can be pretty sure he'll be welding trailers, driving a lifted F1.
Wait. 3 bedrooms for $100K. That's mad. Yeah, American property prices in this, like, the rural states are crazy, honestly.
March to the Deep South.
I'm doing the fucking skip back 5 seconds like it's a music video. I don't need to do that anymore, do I?
He sees 3 bedrooms in a yard for $100K, you can be pretty sure he'll be welding trailers, driving a lifted F-150, and banging Joe Exotic real quick. It seems to me if you chop off the 2 political extremes, basically everyone just wants a good life. But the lives of city-dwelling and rural Americans are so different, of course they're never going to understand each other's perspectives. It's the same story back during the actual Civil War. Even though they were fighting...
It's probably just the reason for the divide, really, isn't it? It's like, it's such a big country, you're going to have such different lifestyles.
Each other's perspectives. It's the same story back during the actual Civil War. Even though they were fighting, both the North and the South were ultimately saying the same thing. Black people should be free. Now, one of the craziest things about America is that your drinking age is 21.
Bro. That is the best one-liner I have ever heard in a commentary. Reload it.
Even though they were fighting, both the North and the South were ultimately saying the same thing. Black people should be free. Now, one of the craziest things about America is that your drinking age is 21, as opposed to Canada where it's 18 or 19, or Europe when it's whenever you have the balls, or Latin America where law...
That's facts. Like, I know barely anyone abides by it, surely, but 21 for drinking is crazy. Like, it's 18 here in the UK, and obviously people drink before that, but... Yeah, like, surely, let me know, Americans, like, how young is, like, the normal age to start drinking in America? Is it, like, higher than the rest of everywhere else because the drinking age is higher? Or does everyone, like, in the UK, people probably start drinking at, like, 16? Is that normal in America? I don't know, let me know.
Laws are just things that police make up when they see a tourist. Now, a lot of people think it's ridiculous that you have to be 21 to buy alcohol, but personally, I think it makes a lot of sense. If my neighbor was some 18-year-old kid, and I saw him in the yard dual-wielding akimbo P90s and obliterating a paper cutout of his ex-girlfriend taped to a sandbag, I'd think to myself, well, good thing he isn't drunk. So, as a Canadian, in my opinion, one of the best things about America is that most people are unusually friendly. Like here in Canada, we mind our own business at all times, unless we minorly inconvenience someone, in which case we apologize profusely for ruining their lives. But in the States, if you stand next...
Bro, I feel like Canada and UK are so similar. Like, you go to London and you're on, like, the tube or something, no one's talking to each other. But you go to America and you're on, like, is it the Metro in New York? I don't know the name for the train service. Like, everyone be having conversations from what I've seen anyway. No, I've never been to New York. Seems like Americans are just a lot more talkative in general. I think the UK and probably Canada are just more antisocial.
To someone for literally any reason, that is permission for them to tell you all about their uninteresting life. So one of my most American experiences was when I went to Disney World and I was waiting in a fairly long line for a churro, and there must have been at least 3 or 4 mobility scooters in front of me with some rather hefty individuals riding them around. And while that makes sense because it's Florida, the part that got me was when another 300-pound dude in a scooter just cut in front of me and was like, a lot of traffic today. And I was just thinking, traffic? Sir, this is a churro line. And then as I was still processing what was happening, a lady about the same size wheels up behind him with a cone full of churros sticking out of her purse. She lightly rear ends his scooter like a bumper car, and he's like, oh, hey honey, as he takes a churro and says to me, well, you have a good night, tips his Miami Dolphins hat, and rolls away hand in hand with his wife to watch the fireworks over the Disney castle and truly live the American dream. So anyway, that's my argument against universal healthcare. Now, let's say you want to get out of America, but you can't.
Bro, this guy's too funny, honestly. I love this guy. He's so funny.
So anyway, that's my argument against universal healthcare. Now, let's say you
that's never happening in the UK. Like, no one is ever stopping in a line to have a conversation with you and, like, passing comment. They're going straight past you and they're not making eye contact. They're just they're just going straight past you, unless you get like the odd person who's friendly. Like in the countryside, in rural areas in England, I feel like people are more friendly. Like you get the odd person who will say, or they'll like say hi as you walk past. That's as sociable as it gets in the UK.
You want to get out of America, but you can't because there's a wall. Instead, you can use ExpressVPN to reroute your connection to nearly any country in the world. For example, I mostly use ExpressVPN.
Yeah, we'll skip this ad as well. I'm sure everyone's seen ExpressVPN ads. Anyway, that is the end of the video. This guy's so jokes. I'm sure most of you have heard of him. If you haven't, like I said, there'll be a link to the original video in the description. If you have enjoyed this video, go down, give it a like, subscribe because we're trying to hit 100k by the end of the year, and I'll see you guys in the next one.